live.
Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours. Welcome to an exciting installment of Chicago by Night. Now, you shall have to forgive me, as this is the first time I'm introducing a scene for Chicago by Night, so let's just play it by ear, shall we? This evening's scene will take place in what is going to eventually be the newly refurbished Crismi Venezia, a fabulous casino resort being currently refurbished by Cara de' Medici, the newly arrived member of Clan Giovanni within the city. The colonnades are marble, the golden filigree sparkles. However, there's still builder's canvas thrown over the statuary, and and the paint scheme is still only half completed. Yet, sooner or later, when it is all indeed complete, it may well be an edifice worthy of the old country. We join the scene as one Mr. Alfred Montebank steps into this establishment, or the construction site of said establishment.
So Alfred's going to walk in. He's a very intimidating looking gentleman, as clearly shown from his face. And the Cain give him a very wide berth, as he is extremely intimidating, almost preternaturally so. And he walks around the casino waiting for someone to speak to him, so as to gain basically what amounts to an audience.
You see a figure stride forward towards you, dressed in a black suit with a black tie and a spotless white shirt, as he clicks his heels and does a small bound. Says, "Excuse me, sir. Is there any way I can help you? We're not currently open for business."
Yes, I am looking for one of the Giovanni family.
I see. You see him quirk an eyebrow as he presses a button, or what you assume is a button, in an earpiece, and he whispers into the comm system, which causes him to turn away from you for just a split second, and he says, "Yes, so may I ask your name and your affiliation?"
I am known as Alfred Montebank, and I am with the Sword of Cain.
"I see, sir." For the record, the butler, as you assume he must be, doesn't break face at all. It is just another day, apparently, for this man. He will then gesture towards the elevator and say, "If you would like to head up, sir, it will be on the 27th floor."
Thank you very much. With that, he just walks to the elevator and pushes the button.
Okay.
With no real fear that this could be a trap.
You hear pleasant elevator music. It's pleasant. Welcome to pleasant elevator music. As the doors slide open on the opposite side, you see a long corridor that has no other doors on either side of it, save for one at the very end, upon which you see, as you walk towards it in gold font, basically you see the name Cara de' Medici, general manager, and then there's this very stylized G that you may recognize somewhat underneath it. The door is closed.
He just walks up to the door. If it doesn't have a metal knocker, he just knocks it with wraps it with his knuckles.
You see the door. The door slowly swings open. Yeah, I suppose this would now be the time. Would Alfred like to make me a perception awareness test, please?
All right. What would be the difficulty?
Standard difficulty.
Standard difficulty. Um. Okay. That will be as. You'll have to forgive me. Dive Stream is no longer being updated anymore, which is rather saddening.
Yes. For some reason, Dice Stream's just not working for me either.
Because Google does not want to pay to have it upkept. All right, so 1 takes away 10. 6. 3 successes if it's standard.
Okay. As you enter, you notice the room becomes much, much colder. You actually feel yourself. Now, bear in mind, you are undead, so you're used to the cold. But even you feel your body shiver as you enter this place, as you enter this room.
Like if he feels himself shiver, he does like the dog thing.
Has Alfred ever been around any form of ghost or wraith or anything like that?
Yes, as he creates them quite often.
No, as in, have you ever actually? That's different. Like when there's a difference between killing people and actually being in the presence of an actual wraith, or ghost, or spirit.
You mean any bound spirit? Correct. Yes. He has not been around bound spirits. He has been around just normal spirits that aren't bound to objects or places.
Then I very much doubt that you know this feeling pretty much, but it's, as I say, you feel physically cold in this room. The room itself is built almost like a library. You see that on either side of the walls there are 3 large bookcases to each side of the room that are covered in very old books, very old tomes, except for the right pressed up against the far wall. There is a large window out of which you can see the goings on in in downtown Chicago. There is a large black mahogany desk that is currently that is placed directly in front of the window, and there is a large leather chair directly behind the desk that is not turned to face you, need I add. However, you can tell, because you can see the top of their head, that there is a person seated in the chair.
Good evening. I assume you are who I'm looking for?
Yes. Would you care to sit down? A hand will emerge from behind the chair and gesture to an there are 2 leather chairs directly in front of the desk.
Knowing Zemitzi, he walks up and pokes one to see if it screams, and then pokes the other.
It, in fact, does not scream.
He sits down then.
Excellent. The chair will turn very slowly until it's parallel with you, so you can see half of the face. You see this lovely individual here, as the occupant says, "And to what is it that I owe this pleasure, Mr. Mountebank?"
I come offering peace, as it were.
I see. How very interesting. Have you been sent by your superiors, or is this a gesture from yourself?
This is a gesture from myself. I have no reason to have any ill will towards you or yours.
I see. A wise man, then. May I offer you something to drink?
No, thank you. I eat what I hunt.
I see. The figure will stand and pour wine into an elaborate, from what looks to be an old, elaborate bottle. You see the label that was no doubt that has now turned to a yellowish scroll as he pours the wine into the glass, dark crimson liquid, before taking a sip and placing the bottle once again in front, and placing the glass in front of him on the table. So, you've come to, how do you say, speak peace between the sword of Cain and the Chilfan. Well, we are always happy for peace. We have no interest, you see, in these petty squabbles between you and the Camarilla.
That's all that matters. Getting business back to the way it should be for you. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. Perhaps, Mr. Montebank, you may allow me to ask a question.
I could allow you to ask many questions. I am not so sure that I can answer them all, though.
How goes the war between you and the Camarilla? Who is currently winning?
You have heard of the Succubus Club, no doubt.
Out of character, that was the Elysium, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the big, like, elders like coming here because they like this place. Like Elysium, like the biggest one in the, until you get to New York, I believe.
See, this place is known to me.
Well, I do believe it's ashed now, as the term goes. It's no longer useful to them with as much exposure as they got, and with the destruction we caused.
I see. And why is it that you opted to strike this building? What? I understand you are at war, but it seems to me such a waste.
A statement. It may.
Ah,
Nowhere can they be safe. Nowhere can they hide. Nowhere can they run. We will find them. We will hunt them down. And we will do what needs to be done.
now that is something I understand. You want to see your enemies crushed beneath. It's not a bad modus operandi. But yes, it is a shame. I was looking forward to attending the Succubus Club myself, but say la vie, these things do happen.
Very true. Especially when you're at war and are not taking the other side. Um, if you don't respect your enemy, I should say, you will fail in your endeavor. Whether you must respect the stupidity or the sheer dumb luck, there's always something about your enemy that should keep you on your toes. And if you aren't, well, that's when you start to lose.
I have a quandary for Mr. Montebank. How old are you?
Oh, let's see. Before I went to sleep the first time, the Civil War had just started. And then I woke up to the roaring 1900s? I don't know. 1900s sounds right. And saw World War One and Two go by. I didn't stay awake very long the first time.
No. Kara once again places a hand on his glass and raises it. He places it under his nose this time rather than taking a sip, scenting the bouquet. So, soon you will reclaim Chicago. After all, what is it they say? That Montreal is the anvil that the hammer of Mexico will come to smash the United States upon.
You have very good ears to the ground if you know that saying, and yes, that is the saying.
As I said, I have little interest in this strife. I've seen far too many wars, far too many battles, and they no longer interest me. I'm here because my clan wishes us to reestablish our profitable endeavors, and so here I sit and drink wine with a pleasant fellow.
I do not know that I'd go so far as to call me pleasant. No one has in a very long time. But I understand that the world works in a certain way. And that way means that business must flow, the kind must be kept under heel or ignorant. And to the winners go the spoils.
Oh, yes. And in the end, the winners will always have what is theirs. So, Mr. Montebank. He will place the wine now down on the desk. And this is the first time he's turned to face you fully. You, how to phrase. I sense that there is more, something that I sense you desire something more than pleasantries and conversation in coming to me this evening. After all, for all you know, this could have been a trap. We could be trying to appease the Camarilla by offering you their heads, etc. So
I just follow where the animals tell me to go, and I arrive in interesting locations. Also, putting the head of a Templar on a pike tends to draw a lot of unwanted attention. Attention that I'm sure you would not want coming from Mexico.
A Templar and a politician, not bad. But yes, there is something more you want, Mr. Montebank. I'm very good at reading people.
So, my eye, it doesn't see so well. Practically dead in the socket. I know you do necromancy. That's what Giovanni are known for. Having powers over the dead and dead flesh. Could you fix this?
Kara stands very, very slowly, leaning across his desk as he looks into the eye. I could.
As you gaze into the mostly dead orb, you are hit with just the sense of madness, like whirling through your mind. It's not like it's an attack. It's just like you now feel a bit crazier for having looked into that.
Okay. So, what is it that you will give me in exchange for a new eye?
Parts. I can hunt down people for you.
Why do you assume that I require people?
Simple. Do you know much about Chicago?
And by all means, please feel free to enlighten me.
Chicago's a place to where you can take people off the street if you know where to go, if you know what to look for. And you may need parts, you may need people to feed on, you may need damned souls for all I know. And I can get that for you. I know where to look. I know who to snag. Without drawing the attention of hunters or the police or werewolves.
The lycanthropes are fortunately no longer a major concern, but I understand your perspective. Very well, Mr. Montebank. You understand that the eye I give you will be special.
How do you mean?
Just give me a moment. I have to read something very quickly. You will, how to phrase, see different places than just the world.
That intrigues me.
Yet, you will see beyond the shroud.
He just looks at you blankly. Excuse me. A shroud is something you bury someone in. What do you mean by seeing through it?
Oh, my apologies. There are different worlds, Mr. Monteban. The world of the living, the breathing, the animate. And then there is the world of the dead, the soul, the shadowlands. That is separated from this world by what we call the shroud. If I give you a new eye, Mr. Monteban, it will enable you to pierce the shroud and to see into that other place.
That's interesting. It could prove useful in hunting down things. Most definitely could prove useful. How many bodies would this require? How many damn souls, or whatever you wish to call them?
You see him lean back in his chair. I have no current interest in corpses, Mr. Montebank. However, you see him toy with the gloves on his hands. Bring me 4 living individuals. I don't want a druggie. I don't want a pointless vessel. But bring me 4 people. I don't, in relatively good condition. I will supply you with another address so you don't bring them here, of course. If you do that and supply the eye, needless to say, it will not be, how to phrase this. The eye must come from someone who did not die in a pleasant manner.
That will not be a problem.
You must rip such agony upon him that his screams pierce eternity, and his soul is sent with a great burden of sorrow to the Shadowlands.
So you mean my normal Friday nights?
There's a casual shrug. Like, eh.
Here's something that also I would like you to look at, and just tell me what you see. And he pulls out an ancient, and I do mean ancient tomahawk, something that probably outlived both of them, and he just puts it on the table. Things tend to, how do I say? I have a couple three I noticed. Items tend to carry with them emotions or other things. That's what the sight can tell you with the blood. What can you tell me about this? I'll let you think about it, and if it would require more payment, I'll bring it up to you next time. But just give it a good look.
We have a deal, Mr. Montebang.
All right.
He will lean forward and take tomahawk deftly in his gloved hands. As he looks it up and down, I have to check his actual relevant stats.
You're going to need to get with Rob on that.
Okay.
Quest found. Da-da-da-da.
He will say, "Are you all right to leave this in my care, Mr. Montebang?"
Yes, I have another. As he just sways open his jacket, and you can see another.
I see.
Very useful things. You can throw them.
Yeah.
You can use them in hand to hand. You can use it to chop wood for steaks. It's just a useful tool to have on you.
I, however, how to phrase this? You see him casually tap a black glove finger to his lower lip. No. I will see what I can find out about your tomahawk, perhaps garnering you the answers that you see. Quick out-of-character question. Does it look visibly old?
Dude, that thing looks so ancient as to make both of us look like younglings.
Not the younglings.
Exactly. So you should be able to get something off of it. What? I have no clue. I do know, however, that it's older than both of us.
Leaning back in his chair, the Kara will say something along the lines of, "Do you have a number where you can be contacted?"
You see him pat around, and he pulls out a wallet that's not his, but then he pulls out a card, which you assume is his because he's got several in there. Yes.
Card say.
It just says The Hound and has a phone number on it.
Kara takes it deftly in his fingers and places it in one of the top drawers of his desk. "I will have you contacted with, how to phrase, the address where you can distribute or place my new playthings when they are required. And I have, how to phrase, standards, Mr. Montebang. I have no interest in, how to phrase, common gutter scum. Make them pretty or don't get them at all. And keep them pretty."
See, now that raises the asking price by a lot. As you can tell by this wretched city, is pretty much all gutter scum, as we would call them. I can get you pretty. I could get you not hooked on drugs. I can't take. I can't make someone into anything, into a gentleman in the time that it would take. Can't take someone and make them into a lady.
I don't need that. As I said, just make sure that they're pretty. And make sure that they're not on something. And other than that, I'm happy.
Well, if that's all you want, I can get you that.
Good. Good. In that case, we have an agreement. When 4 of them are brought to this address, we shall perform the ritual to grant you your new sight.
Excellent. And I hope we can do business together. And I also hope that you might choose to not do business with the Camarilla for the time being, as they are losing.
And there's another very casual shrug.
Well, then, I must be off. I have several things to do tonight, including looking at certain members. Do you want them all female, male, mix?
It makes no difference to me.
As you will it then. I shall find someone probably tonight.
Excellent. In that case, Mr. Montebank, I will wish you good evening.
And he just walks out the room. Now that you can see his back, you can see that he's got a large warhammer, like in the back of his trench coat. Do with that as you will, but it's there, and I don't roll to hide it.
Okay, you will know as you leave the room, and the door will close behind you. Despite the fact that you don't remember there being any, the door just slides closed behind you. Yet the door must clearly be it must be magnetic or something, right? Right?
Hope.
You will be allowed to leave. You will go down the elevator and we'll go out through where they are building the foyer.
As he gets ready to leave, he looks at what he assumes is the butler, hands him a card, and says, "Please let me know when the grand opening is. I'll have to find something nice to wear."
Of course, sir. We shall have you placed on the guest list immediately.
Thank you very much. And with that, he just walks out into the night to go do horrible, horrible things to some random, unsuspecting family.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will end our scene. Thank you, viewers, for viewing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been a scene for Chicago by Night. Peace!